What's up, guys? So welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be starting on installing our max air fans on our van build. If you guys have been following along, you know that we've already installed the kill mat, we've installed the subfloor, and we've done most of the installation. We're waiting still on installation to get here that I ordered that we're short on, and our max air fans came in, and I had been waiting on one more thing, which was the max fan adapter that is needed for the back of these vans right here. So the back is because of the rigid roof and it's not leveled, it requires that we use a adapter, and I'll show you guys the adapter here in a bit. I'll show you everything we're going to be using, but I just want to give you guys a quick rundown of what we've done and where we're at now. So with that being said, I'm going to show you guys all the things that we're going to be using today. I got them laid out here on the table. So we got this, I had already bought this butyl tape, I believe it's called, and some of it came with the adapter. So here's the, you can kind of see it. Here's the adapter that we're going to be using. It is 14 by 14. So that's the adapter. We got some glue. We got some clamps that we're going to need, a saw that we're going to use, hand saw, caulking gun, drill bits, Craig jig hole, some liquid nails, some sealant. I was looking for some 3M window weld, but they don't have any, so I think the second thing that most people use is this. So we're gonna go ahead and use that. Some tape, some wood screws, some blades for the jigsaw, and a clamp, and then we're gonna need this to trace our template. And so for like the template, you would probably have to use like a cardboard or something to make it. But in our case, since I ordered the adapter, we can actually use the adapter to trace it onto where we're gonna make our hole. And then we just gotta carefully cut it, which makes this the most nerve-wracking part of the van build so far, because I haven't cut any holes in the van at all yet. This will be the first holes that I make. So it's a bit nerve-wracking, because it could be something that I could easily mess up, you know. And if I do that, then we're gonna have problems. But I've drilled bigger holes in more important places when I used to work at my old job, so I think I'll be okay. We're gonna go ahead and get our ladder set up. You do need a ladder. I had a 6-foot ladder, but it's at the house, so we're gonna go ahead and use the one here at the shop, which is a 12-foot ladder. Which, like I said, you don't need to use a 12-foot ladder, but 6-foot would be fine. But yeah, let's go ahead and set the ladder up, and we're gonna start with the front one. All right, guys, so we're up on the roof now, and all I'm gonna do is use some Windex to clean the surface of where we're gonna cut out our hole. And then before you do get to this step, make sure you have accounted for the space of everything you're gonna have on the roof, like your solar panels or roof rack, anything in that nature that might be in the way. So you want to make sure it's not gonna affect any of that. It's pretty dusty up here. All right, and then here is the adapter. Before we use it on the back, we're gonna use it right here on the front, so we can use it to trace our cutout hole. All right, and then I'm gonna use some tape here, painter's tape, just to hold it down real quick while I make my cut. This is a little scary, drilling a hole into a expensive van. All right, so now that it is in place where I believe it's pretty centered to where we want it, I'm just gonna take this marker here, make a line. Now we're going to take this back off, and there's the line. Now we're going to put some painter's tape around it, just so I can avoid scratching around my van. All right, guys, so we cut out a hole where the fan came in. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it right up in here like that. That way it can catch all the metal shavings and the metal piece that we're cutting. So we're gonna tape it from here to here, here to here, here to here, and hope it doesn't fall off when the metal box falls in here. But we should be good. Also, when you're cutting, you want to make sure that you don't cut like into any of these ribs here. These are like the main foundations of the van. You don't want to cut that. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and tape this, and then I'll meet you guys on the roof again. All right, now that you are sure that everything is covered on the bottom, your template has been traced, tape has been put around so there's no damage from when you're using the jigsaw. Now you're gonna want to take a smaller bit before you work up to your big bit and make the first hole so you can fit in your jigsaw blade. So I'm gonna start right here. Ain't no turning back now. And we'll work our way up just so we can get our blade in there. The blade should fit, so now we're gonna get the jigsaw. All right, now that it can go in, you wanna start cutting. Woo! All right, there it is, guys. Just gonna file down the edges with this to get all the little pointy edges off of it. And then we're gonna try to fit our fan cover that goes around it. And then we'll see, hopefully it fits. So we had to cut a little bit more off this edge and over here, but here we go. There it is. There it is. Ciao. All right, so the last video cut out, but as I was saying, I'm just gonna clean up these edges a little bit more, and then we're gonna lay some protective enamel, basically the Rust-Oleum. But first we're gonna put the primer on, and then we'll lay that over it once it dries. Then we're gonna go inside and we're gonna put the framing under here, and I'll show you guys that here in a bit. All right, guys, so I was beginning to get ahead of myself. We want to clean this area up so there's no metal shavings up here, just to prevent rust later on down the road. And when you start cutting a hole in your roof becomes really fragile. I don't know if you can see on the camera here from there, but I kind of put a little bit too much pressure there and there's a little dent now. Just gotta be real careful up here, get all the flakes, metal shavings that we can out of here. Make sure it's nice and clean before we take that box out of there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this paint over the Rust-Oleum that we put with this little brush on where we cut, because we know that it fits. So we want to paint where we cut real quick. All right, now I'm gonna take the tape off. All right, guys, so now while that dries, on my pieces that I cut here were 14.5, 4 of them, and then 4 17-inch on these 1x2x8s. So now I went ahead and drilled some holes with the pocket hole jig, and I'm gonna go ahead and fuck. Well, guys, guess who learned how to use a pocket hole jig today? I did. I got ahead of myself and I didn't adjust the pocket hole jig, and I drilled the hole too big, too close. So I had to redo it. So now we're here. Right ones. Now we're gonna put these together, flip it around, do that side, and we'll be done. There we go. Yes, sir. All right, guys. Just open this up. If I can get it in there. Okay. We got some liquid nails here. We are going to, there it is. We're gonna lay some little nice beads right here. Well, we're gonna try to. Okay. We wanna go all around it. So we want it to stick nice and good. I don't think there's a specific way to do this. You can do it however you want. So I'm just kind of doing in zigzags. All right, one more and then it's going up. And then this says to let it dry 24 hours. Not sure how true that is, but I think we're gonna go ahead and let it dry overnight. Tomorrow early, come and cut the other hole out. I'll come and cut the other hole out. We'll let that one dry as well. Just hold it up for a bit and then we're gonna get the clamps on it. Okay, get one clamp on. Grab the other one. There we go. We'll let that dry now for a bit. All right. And here's all of our trash and just metal shavings that fell from earlier. Look at that. And we'll probably use the same box for the back actually. We'll use that for the second one back there. All right, guys, so now that we've let this dry overnight, we're gonna go ahead and also when you put your fan adapter or whatever you want to call it, flange, you want to make sure that these are going on the sides of your van. That way it's not like this. You want to have it like this because that's where your fan, these here is where your fan is going to screw onto. So you want to be sure it's like that. But now that we have it in there like this, let's go ahead and pre-drill some holes right here for our screws. And you want to use a bit that's way smaller than your actual screw size, because you don't want to drill it and then your screw's not going to have anything to hold on to. These here are the screws. So we're going to use this little bad boy. We'll apply a little bit of pressure here and we'll just drill through this. All right. Now you want to take this back out and you want to clean all these shavings that were left. Because like I said, you don't want it to later on down the road to cause rust for you. And we're gonna go ahead and vacuum everything again anyway, so. All right, now you're gonna get your butyl tape here. And we're gonna go and put it around our flange here. Damn, they only gave me for enough for one side. All right, now that we've got it on there, we wanna take off this part that goes on top of the tape. Take that off. Make sure that these are on the sides. And there you go. Once you got that down, you can go ahead and use the screws that came with the fan and you can begin to screw them down. Just like that. All right, there we go, guys. For some reason, a couple of them kind of like burnt out. I don't know if I put them in the wrong way at first. Like if they were kind of angled or something, but there it is. It's on there, it ain't going nowhere. So now we'll just have to make sure our fan goes in there. So I'll go ahead and grab that right now. After that, we're just gonna put some lap sealant on this once the fan is situated and ready to get these put in. And we should be done with this one and then we can move to the back. All right, guys, now that we're back up here, to open the fan, obviously you're gonna have to do it manually. So I think if you just turn it, there you go. You can see it starts to open up. Another thing is you want to make sure that these wires fall inside of here when you put it in. And this part here has to face the back of the van. So now we're gonna go ahead and, it's kind of hard to move around up here without denting the van. So then we'll just go ahead and drop this bad boy in here. Just like that. Maybe. Oh, there we go. There we go. Check that out. Yes, sir. Feels good when you do something yourself and it comes out right. So far. Let's hope. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this fan off again. I'm gonna get some lap sealant. I'll show you guys here in a bit, and then I'm gonna go around this edge and over the bolt, over the screws we put in. And then I'm gonna take a look from the bottom, make sure the wires are in there. And then we'll put the screws in here and we'll put some on there as well so no water gets in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do with the lap sealant right now. So here's what I'm talking about. Some die-core lap sealant, self-leveling. And what I'll do is I'm gonna go just around here, onto the screw, down, onto the screw, down, all the way around. And then we'll set it back in. And you gotta make sure that these clips here, these little clips, are all the way up to the hole. Otherwise, your fan will not screw on. So double check that before you put it in. But let's go ahead and put that lap sealant on. Well, there it is, guys. It's not the prettiest, but all we care about is that it covers it from any water going in. So we're gonna go ahead and let it dry. I'm gonna sit the fan back on there, make sure that it sits right, and then I'm gonna put the screws on the side and we'll be done with this one. And after that, we'll let it dry like I said, and then we'll test it for water leaks. We'll take it out of here, put the hose to it, let the water fall on it, and make sure no water goes into the van. So then if it does, then we're gonna have to come back up here and seal it some more, see where the leak's coming from and seal it. But I think we should be good. We'll let that dry for a bit. I'll set the fan back on there, make sure the wires are in there, and then we'll screw it down. And there it is, guys, the finished product. We went ahead and put the 4 screws on the side in. You want to use just a screwdriver. Just want to do it hand tight, but fan ain't going nowhere. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and put some of this lap sealant on those screws, let it dry, and we're gonna head to the back and start cutting out our hole there. I probably won't record too much of the back just because I don't want to bore you guys with the same process over. I'll probably just record the part where I put the adapter, so if you guys are doing it and you want to see how it's done, then I'll show you guys how to install that. But as far as cutting the hole and everything, I don't think I'm gonna record all that. I want to keep the video kind of short and simple. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and put the lap sealant on here and then go down, take a look at it from there, and then let it dry and start the back. All right, guys, so while that is still drying, I just put the protector for the rust on there. So we got to let that dry a little bit longer. But what I wanted to show you guys was, this is the adapter. So they sell them for transits and sprinter vans, I believe, too. You can just find them on eBay. I do recommend them because it was way easier for me to get the stencil to cut out the hole there. And then this is what we're gonna use. I see a lot of people using 3M window seal. We're just gonna use this polyurethane sealant, and we're gonna flip this around here, and we're gonna put some beads around this area here, around the perimeter. It's kind of hard to see now. Right around, you see those ridges all around, and then we're gonna set it lined up with this like that there, And then we are going to bring this here for the fan, and we're gonna set it like that on top. Boom. We're gonna set it here like this and then push down on it. But I don't want to do that yet till this dries up a little bit, because I don't want to mess up anything going on in there. But actually, we might try it. It's been drying for a while now. One thing I forgot is I'm gonna use this, I think this is like a 180 grit, and we're just gonna go ahead and go around the edge here on the top, just so that the polyurethane can get a better grip, you know, when we put it on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first, all around the edge right here, just a little bit, just like I said, just so it gets a little bit of the polyurethane a little better, like that, all around it. Some people use those Scotch-Brite pads. You can, just I didn't have one in hand. This is all I had, so we're gonna use this, and then we'll put that on there. All right, so now that we've put that on there, we are going to go ahead and grab this, and we're just gonna slightly set it right on the ridges here. We're not gonna push down on it. We're just gonna set it there, and then you're gonna grab this, and you're gonna set that inside of here, and then you're gonna push down. So this polyurethane thing, sealant, it's supposed to take up to 24 hours to dry, apparently. So we gotta wait a whole nother day until we can actually put the fan on like we did to the front. So I have the fan up here, but for me to have it like that back here, I have to wait till tomorrow, because I still gotta come back and drill the holes right here, which also I went ahead and got 8 by 1 3/4 screws, just so I could drill through that adapter, the flange, and then the 1 by 2 that we have on the bottom of there. So that's probably gonna be it for this, guys. I want to get a video out to you guys already, so that's what it's looking like. I'll show you guys from inside real quick. So there it is, guys. That's what it looks like from the inside of the van. So we're letting this finish drying, and then the adapter that we just put on with that urethane, we're letting that dry. And this one's good. This one's all dried up and done. Pretty happy with how it came out. I will be insulating the rest of this around it. Still got to put insulation up here. The insulation finally came in. But yeah, this is where we're at, guys. So yeah, guys, there you have it. For as much as I want to go ahead and show you guys the finished video with both fans on, I'd have to wait a whole nother day. And like I said, I want to get a video out to you guys every week. So once I start running power and everything, I'll be sure to show you guys everything, make sure everything works, and all you guys will be able to see the finished product then. So I'm just missing a couple of the electric components, but I'm gonna work on ordering those probably tonight or tomorrow. So I'm hoping soon we can start getting power to everything. That would be nice, just to have lights in here instead of just depending on this little light right here. But we still got a ways before we can get there, but we're trying to move quick. So like I said, we're just gonna let this dry the rest of the day, and go ahead and do a little bit of insulation work for now. So yeah, guys, with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you supporting the channel. Feel free to share my content with anybody that you think might be into this kind of stuff, you know, whether it's traveling or, you know, building stuff out like this. Yeah, I'm just talking too much now, guys. So like I said, every week I'll be trying to drop a video. So I'll see you guys next week. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.